All right, we're here again for a tutorial on day 3 of CY1 Summer Session. I'm here on the curriculum map. I'm going to click on day 3. Once I get there, I will see that in my lesson plan slide deck, we'll talk about email etiquette this lesson, and then the answer key to the quiz they're taking. That's all there for you. I already have the lesson plan and the lesson plan slide deck available for you. Just a quick overview. This class, we want to practice Canvas quizzes with Lockdown Browser, review email etiquette according to Loyola, and then also introduce Canva for education. And with that introduction, have students learn how to use it by creating an Instagram post of their 6-word memoir that comes from their module scavenger hunt. The vocabulary for the day, you'll notice that the first third is the bell ringer to the quote discussion. That Canvas quiz is that middle third. And the last third is the count off to Canvas 6-word memoir. So in terms of how you're sort of trying to organize yourself by minutes, 25, 25, 25, that Canvas quiz will take time today, and that's all right. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. Students are getting seated. They're opening their planners to page 28, doing their bell ringer, selecting their norm for the day. We'll do the sushi pay again and ask students to remind us what day it's prayed on. And if anybody knows the first line, take Lord and receive all my liberty. And so we'll have a student volunteer maybe provide that for us. We'll pray the prayer either as a class, or we'll have one student read it aloud, whatever you decide makes sense to me. We'll pick a norm. This time, the framework or the framing of this is, what is the best norm for a test-taking environment? They are going to take their first quiz during this class. And so what do they think they need to model most in a test-taking environment? Maybe ask some volunteers to provide what they selected and why. Move forward. Ask students what's a grad value. Hopefully we'll get something along the lines of the characteristic that we expect a student to become as they graduate from Loyola High School. Then ask the students, what was the one that we did last week? And hopefully they'll answer open to growth. There's an animated check mark that I selected, and then we're going to get them into this week. We're going to focus on intellectually distinguished. Once I click again, then we have a student read the definition. You might want to go into a brief, like, what do we really think intellectually distinguished means in our own words? And what I would say is we just want our students to be lifelong learners and inquisitive, more so than just academically good, which is also important. We're not saying it's not. It's just not the highest good. And with that being in mind, we're going to go over, do a Canvas check, do a teaser Tuesday, talk about the quote, review the Canvas quiz, and then the Canvas 6-word memoir. So we kind of go over the agenda for today, and then we get into it. At this point, the students should open up their laptop lids 90 degrees. We're going to ask them to go to Canvas and click on the assignment that is, Are You a Wordsmith? So teachers, you have to have Are You a Wordsmith graded with comments, because they're going to go into that assignment and look for your comments. As soon as they read them, they're going to reply back. We want them to get used to using Canvas comments because a lot of our teachers use that. Once they've done so, they're going to put their laptop lids 45 degrees and move on to Teaser Tuesday. And if they finish Teaser Tuesday, you can say with whoever you're partnered with to do the 3 things activity, which is kind of this red teardrop right here. So during this time, it's a lot of independent work. I would say the Canvas check is going to take less than 5 minutes. So maybe do kind of a thumbs up method or whatever you decide to do about 3 minutes in. Who's finished their Canvas check? Excellent. Who's on the Teaser Tuesday? Cool. Who's ready to do 3 things, right? That's awesome. So just kind of keep that in mind. They'll do that activity, and then we're going to move into the quote discussion. What are we failing to prepare is preparing to fail. What does this have to do with teachers, CY1 and Loyola? I don't know what it is, but a lot of kids see this, and the first thing they say is that, well, if you're not ready to teach me, then I'm going to fail. And I love that, because they are always going to put the onus on us, the adults. I'd love for you to reframe that and say, great, you're right. That's what teachers have to do. What do you have to do in order for CY1? Like, why does CY1 exist? There's a reason why Be Prepared is part of our class motto. So have that discussion. Then we're going to go into a Canvas quiz. This quiz is graded, and it is graded for points. This is not like the last quiz they took, which was kind of a freebie for the module scavenger hunt. This is a quiz. The grade will count. However, it is open note and open partner. We are using Lockdown Browser, so it's not open internet, and you might need to be clear about that. Open note means you can use your planner, you can use anything that you've written. Open partner means that whoever you're partnered with for the 3 things activity, that's going to be your partner for this quiz. Whenever we take a new quiz, we want to go to Canvas first, click on the calendar event or click on the whatever the quiz is titled, and then we're going to wait for the access code. So if I was a student, and this isn't going to work right now because I'm filming this ahead of time, but just for the purposes of, let's say I'm in Andre's class, I'm going to go student view. I'm going to go to modules. The students that are taking this CY1 week 2 quiz, it's right here. I'm going to leave the student view for a second so that we can do this. So the students will access it this way. They're going to go, and I'm going to go to build so you can see it like a student would see it. One thing that you have to do is turn lockdown browser on for this. It doesn't automatically turn it on. It's your job to turn it on. So make sure that you turn on lockdown browser before this quiz. So settings, the code is Inigo, which is Ignatius's birth name. I'm going to preview it for you. So the students, it's not timed, or actually, excuse me, it is timed for 30 minutes. Most students are going to take about 15 minutes for this. And so that's what we're hoping for. So this is a clicker response. What one means witness with your whole self? Which one is welcoming multiple viewpoints? Being present? Hang in there? Listen with care? And the one that's missing is God in all things. They should be able to find this in their planners. That's why it's open note. Now we're matching. Which one is the course card? That's B. Which one is the course card is B, sorry. A is the module. That's the dashboard. Says D is the landing page. C is the dashboard. Then we want them to write the main difference between PowerSchool and Canvas. PowerSchool is our grade book. Canvas is our learning management system, our LMS. It's basically a website for your class where all your assignments are housed. Using your planners, read about what is expected with you with regard to email etiquette based on what you have read. Explain how this email could be better and rewrite it to demonstrate those improvements. This is a 10-point question. And then lastly, Chrome. So I'm going to X out of this, but you can see the quiz is fairly navigable if they have their materials, if they're well planned. It's a 25-point quiz. But I'm going to go to the answer key really quickly so you can see kind of how I'm thinking about this. So the email etiquette document goes really, let's do this. The email etiquette document is pretty explicit. We send emails at a reasonable hour, short title, acknowledge what we've done, accountability, meaning we take responsibility, advocacy, proposing a solution, using appropriate tone, properly formatted, and a special request is tell your teacher why you're absent. So I'm absent tomorrow because I have blank. I will miss a quiz or test because, and then I plan on doing this when. So we're trying to help our students be very mindful about how to email. So if I go to the quiz is asking this email, I apologize, Mrs. Pardo. I was stranded at the park till 10 and have to wake up to lift tomorrow at 4:45. So I won't be able to finish the VHL. I will get it into you by tomorrow. My apologies. How could this email be improved by email etiquette? I would argue that this email doesn't have a proper introduction. It doesn't say, Dear Mrs. Pardo. It doesn't have a proper conclusion. It doesn't say, Sincerely, J.R. Francis, Spanish 2, period 4. The student did propose a solution, but he didn't request an extension. So it felt very like the tone, knowing this kid, he was really freaking out and he was just writing. But instead of saying, I would love, could you please give me an extension? He wrote, I'm going to finish it tomorrow, as if that's a choice. I don't accept late work. So to me as a teacher, I probably would have saw that as, I understand his situation, so I give him that empathy, but I might not give him that extension if he's demanding it. Also, you'll notice in this email that there's no appropriate avatar. So if I've only had this student once, I don't really know who he is. Like, this does nothing for me. It doesn't tell me anything. So what I would hope he would have said is subject line, extension for VHL homework. I apologize for the late email. I was stranded at the park until 10 and have to wake up early for lifting at 4:45 a.m. tomorrow. Due to these unfortunate circumstances, I was wondering if you would grant me an extension to finish the VHL assignment tomorrow before midnight. My apologies. Sincerely, J.R. Francis. Now, in Spanish 2 period 4, this is it's a better formatted email. The tone is asking. It's not demanding or stating. It's neutral. When I would have sent this earlier, but given his circumstances, it makes sense why he sent it when he sent it. So we really want to walk through, and also as teachers yourselves, what are your pet peeves for emails? This is here because this is what's expected. And, we reserve the right not to respond to emails. And so really walk through, when you do this, once they take the quiz, you're going to go over the quiz. And I would really ask that you be very explicit, that you tell them like, hey, this is what I would expect. So please review the quiz results with them, particularly PowerSchool versus Canvas and the email etiquette, because we want that to be nailed down in this lesson. They've been doing a lot of stuff, so we need to breathe a little bit. And there's this game called Count Off. And I love Count Off. The whole idea is that you'll have them in a circle. And depending on your class size, so if I have a class of 18, we're going to count 1 to 18. And here's some rules. You can't count in consecutive order. So we're in a circle. So if I'm 1 and next to me is DJ, DJ can't be 2. We also can't plan in advance how to count. So I can't be like, okay, I'm going to say 1 and Jason over there is going to say 2 and Tom over there is going to say 3. Nope, there's no planning in advance. You can only say up to 2 numbers. So I could say 1, 2, and then I'm out, or I could say 1, and then after a while, maybe I'm 7. I could say that, but that's all I can do to participate. We can't gesture to each other or point to each other when to do it, when to count. Hands have to be behind our back. And the way it works is you have 3 chances to count to 18. And this is the most important part. If you interrupt each other, so if I say 1 and then I say 2 and Jason over there says 2, we have to start over. So it's a team game where you're trying to count to 18. What I love about this activity is what Jason does in his class is that if he needs to break up the momentum, he uses this activity to, let's get him up. You get 3 shots. Let's see how far you can get today. And he does that with this class. So that's a great way of getting them up, waking them up. And, I'll set this timer so that I'm not spending too much time doing this activity. Once we've gotten them out of their seats, we're going to go back to the 6-word memoir. You were assigned in the Are You a Wordsmith assignment, which you saw my feedback, to tell your life story in 6 words or to tell us why you chose Loyola in 6 words. These 6 words that I graded already, you're going to actually transform into a 6-word memoir. And I want it to be an Instagrammable post. You as the facilitator will replace my very, very old one from COVID with yours. And so it could be animated, it could be, static text, whatever you want, but have your 6 words as a model. I would love for you to transform this. This is a very important assignment. In this assignment, I'm going to be grading for particular things. 1, it has your memoir, and that memoir is 6 words, not 7, not 5. It includes your name. Your name needs to be on the 6-word memoir. See how mine says Señora Pardo? 1, it needs to be submitted as a file attachment. That means you need to download it as a PNG or a GIF if it's animated. And then 2 points for creativity. Does it make sense intuitively? Like your 6 words match your images? Is it appropriate for school? When we go to Canva, and you might want to get out of this slide, you're just going to go to Canva, create a design, and they're going to use their Loyola Gmail, by the way, for this. Instagram post, And then the world is their oyster. They can select templates. They can put elements, text. They can upload pictures as long as they're appropriate. Ask students to avoid memes because memes can also, as we've learned from CY2, can sometimes not be appropriate for school. So they've got 20 minutes to kind of, the world is their oyster. The cool thing about Canva is it's called a WYSIWYG product. It's what you see is what you get. So it, you know, when I'm making something, if I want to go to design, let's say I do this one, and I want to go to elements, and I want to say I want a star. I can see all the options. I'm going to go with this one. I just have to make it smaller, bigger. So again, what's great about this is it's very intuitive, it's easy, but it's their job to make sure it fits the requirements. What often happens is they get so into design mode that they forget that we're grading for the memoir, the student name, and that they submitted the file as an attachment. Give them that 20 minutes working time. This is great for you and your TA to catch up. Maybe do that grading on the side of their behavior. And then just remind them, hey, like, we'll see you this coming Thursday, June 27th. This memoir is due Friday, 8 a.m., the Canva version, and all late work is due Friday, 8 a.m. After Friday, 8 a.m., I will not accept any late work because most teachers at Loyola do not accept late work. We want to give you sort of a soft place to land your first 2 weeks, but now you're in it, so now you get it. So, you know, you close that way, and that is the class.